seasoned beef, double the cheese for $5.99. Let's see that again. Double beef, double cheese for, $5.99. Huh, good deal.
Watch Off the Clock, today at 2 on KTLA 5.
Now at noon, we're following the latest results from yesterday's election, including the race for LA mayor, which remains too close to call. Thank you for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at Noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Midterm election results from across the country are still being tallied, with control of the U.S. House and Senate hanging in the balance.
Several key races are still up in the air, including two top battles right here in Southern California, the race for LA mayor and LA County sheriff. We have live team coverage starting with KTLA 5's Lauren Lister at City Hall with the latest on the mayor's race. Lauren?
Yeah, Glenn and Lou, we are talking about the race for mayor of Los Angeles. Still too close to call. Let's go ahead and take a look at the most up-to-date numbers. Let me put those up on your screen. So right now, we have Rick Caruso leading the way, about 51% of the counted vote to Bass's slightly less than 49%. That's with about 44% of the votes counted. They are separated by just over 12,000 votes. Now, both candidates spoke to their respective supporters at parties last night. Here's developer Rick Caruso, who's now in the lead.
The wonderful thing I never knew as a candidate when you're running for mayor is that you develop a larger family along the way. The people that you would never have met in communities, because we've all come together for a cause, and that's a very uplifting thing.
Now, Caruso, for his part, spent millions of dollars of his own money on the race and picked up celebrity endorsements from the likes of Katy Perry and Chris Pratt. He's owner of The Grove. That's where his party was last night. He's been running as an outsider on a platform of change. And he did tweet overnight that he's, quote, proud to have earned the hundreds of thousands of votes from Angelenos who are ready for change, writing, I am confident that once every vote is counted, the momentum we saw throughout this campaign will send me to the mayor's office, end quote. Now, the contest did seesaw throughout the night, without either candidate ever leading by more than a few thousand votes. That's until Caruso opened up a 12,000 vote lead in the update this morning. His opponent, Congresswoman Karen Bass, striking an optimistic note at her campaign party last night.
We will win because we're going to build a new Los Angeles. But when we win, we have to begin again. We have to begin our efforts again, because together we want to have a city hall that serves all the people.
Congresswoman Karen Bass at the Hollywood Palladium last night. Bass, for her part, would be the first woman elected LA's mayor. She's received support from top Democrats, including President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. She also tweeted about the tight race for mayor just before midnight, writing, we won't know the final result of the election tonight, but we do know that we made history with our movement. Here's political analyst Jessica Levinson on what to expect from here.
We need more results. And what we've heard is that about 40% of the votes have been cast, and we're going to get a new batch in on Friday. So it's going to be a waiting game for a couple of days now. We have the candidates basically separated only by 12,000 votes. It really is a toss-up at this point. Anybody who says, I know exactly what's going to happen, I don't think they do.
And I just got off the phone with the Bass campaign moments ago. They are not expecting the Congresswoman to speak to reporters today, but they are putting out a statement, they say, so we should have new reaction in a short while. Also, my colleague Mary Beth McDade set to speak to Rick Caruso. We will bring you that. For now, that's the latest. Live outside City Hall in downtown LA, I'm Lauren Lister. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Governor Gavin Newsom won his re-election over State Senator Brian Dahle. This means Newsom will serve a second term as California's governor. Newsom beat his challenger by double digits. The governor spoke last night about his second term.
I'm deeply humbled by the results, deeply humbled to have the privilege of extending my term as governor of the state of California, but I'm also deeply motivated and mindful of all the energy in this room.
In recent months, Newsom also sparked rumors of a possible 2024 presidential run, but he has not confirmed if, in fact, he will run.
We are also following the latest results in the race for LA County Sheriff. Right now, former Long Beach Police Chief Robert Luna is leading against LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva. KTLA 5's Kimberly Chang is covering this story for us. She's live in downtown LA with the very latest. Hi, Kimberly.
Lou, hi. It's still too early to call. Both acknowledged last night that it could take days before they know the results. Now, here's a look at the latest on the LA County Sheriff's race. Take a look. With 42% reporting and more than 1.2 million votes counted, LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva's attempt at re-election is at risk. Based on early results, former Long Beach Police Chief Robert Luna is in the lead with 57% of the votes. Villanueva, with 43%, said last night he's taking a wait-and-see approach. Here's a listen to what both Luna and Villanueva had to say on election night as early results came in.
It's a long list of things we accomplished, and then we had to throw in the pandemic, civil unrest, the defunding movement, and yet we still were able to succeed and keep the department operating, keeping the community as safe as we could with the resources we had. So I think the moral of the story is imagine what we can accomplish when the board works with us instead of against us.
The trajectory of crime is not going in the right direction in the county. Actually, there are double-digit increases in the county in crime. And we need strategies. We need partnerships. We need collaboration to reduce crime. And that's what we talk about doing, is going in there and working in partnership with our community, working in partnership with all of our government agencies, working in partnership with, yes, the Board of Supervisors.
Villanueva stayed optimistic. He told his supporters that on election night 4 years ago, he was initially trailing but ended up in the lead. Luna, who was on stage with his family, stopped short of giving a victory speech. He said this was his first campaign and he chose to run because he believes in the men and women in the department, but that a change in leadership is needed. Now, during his campaign, Luna promised he would work with county elected officials. Villanueva clashed with the LA County Board of Supervisors, which manages the department's budget. All 5 supervisors supported Luna. Now, during his speech, Villanueva said we did things that were not done before. We spoke truth to power. The Sheriff's Department has had its share of scandal. The State Attorney General's office has an investigation underway by involving alleged civil rights abuses by deputies. The Sheriff's Civilian Oversight Commission also looking into accusations of deputy gangs. As you may know, Measure A was also on the ballot. It would give the LA County Board of Supervisors the authority to remove an elected sheriff. Based on early returns, about 68% of voters were in favor of Measure A. Live in downtown, Kimberly Chang, KTLA 5 News.
All right, we're also monitoring key congressional races across the nation.
Control of the U.S. House and Senate are hanging in the balance. KTLA 5's Corrine Winter is live in our news center with the latest numbers. Hi, Corrine.
Hi, Lou. The numbers continue to change. The control of Congress is still up in the air. And right now, there are some big races that are really too close to call. Republicans are hoping to snag control of the House and maybe the Senate. Right now, Democrats have secured or are projected to have won 48 seats. Republicans have 49. Democrats control the Senate, so Republicans, they'd need a net gain of 1 seat to take over there. And here's a bigger look at the Senate map. These are key races in 3 states, and the ones in yellow are still undecided. The results aren't in yet for Nevada, or Arizona and Georgia. Now, these are critical since these states will determine which party prevails in the control of the Senate. A huge win for Democrats in Pennsylvania. Democratic Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, he beat his Republican opponent, TV personality and celebrity doctor Mehmet Oz. Fetterman's health was front and center in the campaign. He suffered a stroke this year and had problems speaking during a debate, but he came out on top in this race. And in Ohio, the Republicans, they held on to their Senate seat there. J.D. Vance, a venture capitalist and author, he beat Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan. In Nevada, it's very close right now, but the Republican Adam Laxalt is now leading the Democratic incumbent Catherine Cortez Masto by several percentage points. Now, if Laxalt wins, it would be a pickup for Republicans. But many of the mail-in ballots from the most populated parts of the state have not yet been counted, so we're watching that as well. And in Georgia, it's a virtual tie between Democratic incumbent Reverend Raphael Warnock and former football star Herschel Walker.